Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold My Nugget Studios for your... Oh, Jesus Christ, watch out for the banana! Fuck! They never look. As I was saying, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Hold My Nugget Studios for your 2019 NCAA March Madness Elite 8 game highlight commentary. Texas Tech taking on Gonzaga for the right to advance to the Final Four, and unlike Michael Strahan's teeth, this game is close, as both teams would exchange the lead and won, but the ref ain't called a foul. Following a near 4-minute dry spell of baskets, Gonzaga would produce more in the paint than Vincent Van Gogh and cut their deficit to 1. But Texas Tech would walk into the cave of origin and summon Kyogre. The rain dance would be effective from 3 as they take a 6-point lead, but Gonzaga refusing to go away like an erection after 3 pills of Viagra as they cut their deficit to 5. Under 30 seconds left to go, desperation time for Gonzaga. They drain a 3 to cut their deficit to 2, but back-to-back free throws from Texas Tech would give them a 4-point lead. Now they're praying for a score like a 40-year-old virgin. They would get it and cut their deficit to 2 with 11 seconds left to play. But much like Jeffrey Dahmer using lube during his sexual relations, it wasn't enough to keep things alive. Texas Tech moving on to the Final Four. Up next, Virginia taking on Purdue Chicken in a game in which we saw more shooting than your local gun range. Both teams must have just came from the cave of origin and both captured a Kyogre, because the rain dance had them all hitting from 3. Then a battle would ensue between two inherent rivals as the Dreadlocks would take on the white man. Carson Edwards would activate his Dreadlock powers and put in a 3. But Kyle Guy would say that's how the white man shoot the basketball. But Carson Edwards would open his Bibles to Heronical 6 verses 22. Ladies, don't sleep with DMX. He's guaranteed to breed. Trust in the power of Dreadlocks, and Carson Edwards will give you the lead. And he'd say that's how the black man shoot the basketball. The bank's always open. Ryan Klein at the free throw line for Purdue Chicken. He'd sink the first free throw, but he'd miss the second. He drives automatic. He don't got the clutch in the car. Ty Jerome would knock down his first free throw for Virginia, down by 2. Under 6 seconds left to play. He'd miss his second. Virginia in need of a miracle. Desperation pass across the court. It's caught by Mamadi Diakite. He puts the ball up. It goes into the basket. He had a little bit of the heart-shaped herb because he used the strength of the Black Panther to force overtime for Virginia. We'd enter overtime. Purdue Chicken would strike blood first, but Virginia would answer right back because they split in the middle of the defense to give them the lead. But on the other end of the floor, Carson Edwards would still use his Dreadlock powers to give the lead back to Purdue Chicken. But Virginia would answer right back, and the brother would say, fuck your Dreadlocks, and give them the lead. Carson Edwards would take a 3, but his Dreadlocks might be out of power. It's rebounded by Virginia. They're gonna go to the free throw line. Kyle Caucasian Guy at the free throw line would knock down both of his free throws to give Virginia a 3-point lead. 5.7 seconds left to go. Carson Edwards with the ball in hand. He'd look for Ryan Klein, but he's got butterfingers. What happened to his hands? Virginia's gonna move on to the Final Four. Up next, Auburn taking on Kentucky, and they would continue their tradition from this tournament of absolutely extinguishing teams that are wearing blue. Get over here. We don't like Wildcats. I'm telling you, no bloody. 4.5 minutes left to play. The Wildcats, not from East High, would tie up the game for Kentucky, and with a minute left to play, they would take the lead 60-58. But on the very next possession, Auburn would tie up the game, and with under 5 seconds left to play, they had an opportunity to win. They put up the 3, and it's gonna be... And we're going to overtime. We'd enter overtime, and Auburn would strike blood first as they take an early 2-point lead, and then they'd catch Kentucky in a genjutsu. They forgot to cover the paint. They're up by 4. But Kentucky would answer right back with 2:40 left to play, and they'd cut their deficit to 2. But Auburn got that tiger blood Charlie Sheen got. And look at the ball go down the hole. Hey, what's your favorite snack? Cookies! The ball is stolen by the Tigers. They would lay it up and take a 6-point lead. Auburn now up by 5 would extend their lead to 7, but Kentucky would come right back and cut the lead back down to 5. And these Wildcats looking like High School Musical because they know it's now or never, as they would score on back-to-back possessions and cut their deficit to 3. 12 seconds left to play.
Oh no, I know.
That would send Auburn to the free throw line. They'd knock down both free throws, and the last chance for the Wildcats, they would fail on the jump shot. They wouldn't foul, and Auburn is moving on to the first Final Four in their school's history. And up next, we have entered the main event. Michigan State would say this is Sparta, but Zion would say fuck the movie 300 as he'd put Duke on his back and begin to rub his nutsack all over the Spartans defense, and he would bring the Blue Devils within one. Then Trey Jones would slice into the paint with the up and under to give them the lead. Cassius Winston would pull up for three and give the Spartans the lead, but Cam Reddish would say right back at ya pussy as Duke regains it. Zion would extend Duke's lead with the three, but Cassius Winston would say right back at you pussy, how do you like it? Hey, where you going? I'm telling you no, bloody. Duke with a 3-point lead, but here come the Michigan State Cybermen as they put in a three to tie up the game, and they would look to take the lead here, but Zion thinks otherwise. Just look at the elevation though. Somebody need to change the name of hopscotch to Zion Scotch. Following a Duke free throw, Cassius Winston would give the Spartans a 1-point lead.
Almighty push.
The almighty push on Zion. He can't recover the ball, and look at the other side of the floor. Get ready for the science project. Get ready for your poster board. He told them to hold my nuggets. Suck my dick. Michigan State takes a 4-point lead, but Duke, much like Matt Hardy in 2005, would refuse to die cut their deficit to 2. I corrected myself for the last mistake on the last video. And RJ Barrett would walk into the car dealership and look for a stick shift because he says, I want the clutch in the car. And then Zion Williamson would extend the Duke lead to 3, but Michigan State would stay positive, much like Magic Johnson, and cut the deficit to 1. And on their very next possession, they would take the lead by 2. Third consecutive nail biter down to the wire for Duke. RJ Barrett for 3. He's selling bricks, the ball out of bounds. They say it's out on Duke. They reviewed it. It's out on Michigan State. RJ Barrett sent to the free throw line, 2 to tie up the game. He'd miss his first. The dealership told him don't buy stick shift. You can only drive automatic. You don't got the clutch in the car. He tried to miss his second. He'd make it. Inbound Michigan State. Duke got caught in the genjutsu. They're not gonna catch them today. The Spartans are moving on to the Final Four, and Duke is going home. For Duke, Kentucky, Purdue, and Gonzaga, head to Elimination Station. Take out your Metro cards and get aboard the L train. But your ride will be short-lived for your failures of advancing to the Final Four, for your failures of advancing to the national championship. Consider your names written down in the death note, because your dreams of winning the national championship and hoisting up the trophy have been absolutely deleted.
What the hell wrong with them? What's wrong with them? What's wrong with it?
So what's on?
Big dummy! Nancy! Hold my nuggets. Suck my dick!